Okay, welcome everyone to week 7. Today we're going to cover pivot tables, and I'm going to show you a different way you can use charts or create charts through pivot tables. So all of this is to aid you in analysing the material you've gained from your questionnaire. So you'll see that's a little bit more sophisticated than the way in which we did it last week. So our data for this week is our assortment plan, and you'll notice, and what you should do anytime you get a table, I know you tend not to, but have a look at the headings so you get your head around what each set of data represents. So we've got assortment plan for boys, we have their class, subclass, basic fashion, directional, color, etc. There's a couple of columns that are squished, and I do that on purpose because in class I can see which students are paying attention and actually open up those columns, just so it will reveal in its full glory all of the data. So now that you know, this represents units across August, September and October. Okay, let's go to task 1. We want to create a pivot table shell on this sheet using the data from the assortment plan. So select any cell that you like, doesn't really matter where it is, and we go up to insert, remembering I'm using the browser version of Excel. So if you're using your desktop one, it'll be slightly different. Click on pivot table. Table range is the assortment plan. So we go back to the assortment plan, get this out of the way, and shift control down arrow. I think it's command on a Mac. Press OK, and there it is. There's your first pivot table. Nothing much exciting happening here, but if you look on the right hand side, you'll notice that all of the headings from the table now appear over here. And so now it's a matter of putting a tick in the box for the information that you want displayed. So if I select BFD, it gives us the labels basic, directional, fashion, core. Big deal, you say. What about if we drop total units in there? So now what it does, it automatically adds up the total units for basic, directional, fashion, core. Last week we did it with count if S, if you remember, and you've got to clumsily go through different columns to do it. So this is a much quicker and more efficient way to do so. If you don't like what you've done, just get rid of the tick. And again, today's exercises are about you playing with this sort of this table, this information, to see what happens. If I put in the August ones, it totals the August. I'll drop in September while I'm at it. And you may have noticed as I put a tick in, it drops it into these 4 quadrants down here. And each quadrant represents the columns, rows, the values, which are the numbers, and then we can filter those numbers as well. That's basically a pivot table. You're free to do things like, I'll just get rid of these for a moment, just to show you. If you can pick up the row, the BFD in the rows, and drag it into columns, and it spins the table around this way. And now if I put in my August figures, it drops them down that way. So that's a matter of preference, the way in which you want to do it. I'm going to put it back in rows as such. Now while I'm here, if I go to my pie chart or a chart, I'm going to select a column chart, press on that, and automatically it gives me the information plus all the labels there. So as you can see, it's a very quick way to generate charts, and we can drop other information in there as well. So if we go to task 2, it basically just wants you to recreate that chart. So you've got to put another pivot table in here. So you'd go File, Insert Pivot Table, as we just did for task 1, and then tick the boxes to give you the color and the total units, and then create any chart that you want from that. Have a go at that one, and I'll meet you back in task 7, where I'll show you some more information. Take your time and make sure you play around. Don't be scared to sort of explore, click on things, change colors, whatever. Okay, see you in task 7.